Hi, and welcome to the latest episode of the Monday Habit. It's habit number 11, and it's all about good mood food. And today I've got 10 incredibly the top of the list that make, the podium, if you had 10 on a podium, of the best foods that we can eat for improving our mood, for using food basically like it's medicine. And that's what nutritional psychiatry is all about. For example, Dr. Chris Palmer from Harvard Psychiatric Hospital is really sort of at the forefront of the research being done in this space. And but it's not just a totally recent thing. This has been around for quite some time, and certain individuals have been practicing the idea that sort of it's like an OG biohacker that I'm a massive fan, and is a heroine of mine because really helped me with my health habits and my sort of brain fog that I was experiencing, from my chronic Lyme. And Dr. Rachel Kelly, she published this book, The Happy Kitchen. Oh, let me pull it up. There we go. And I'm always talking about this book because it was such an influence on me. Sort of back in 2017, when I bought this, it really, really changed how I looked at food from the point of view of helping me with my mental health. So hopefully one day, maybe we'll have Rachel Kelly right here on the podcast. That would be cool. But to today, and let's get to helping you if you're interested in what are the foods I can eat. There's a lot of clinical research around the help that it can have, sort of on major mental health conditions from ADHD, anxiety, depression, low mood, and sort of even schizophrenia. So, but that said, safety message: I am not a healthcare provider, and I am not your health coach, and therefore do reach out to your medical health practitioner for any suggestions, any advice, anything that you're thinking of taking with regards to any health condition you may have or think you have concerns with. Okay, but that said, we can now get into why is this food even considered, medicine? Why? And really, it's about the nutrients within these food items within this top 10. And basically, there's 34 essential nutrients, and 12 of those essential nutrients for the body have been identified as being essential for brain chemicals, for sort of being part of our sort of optimal sort of brain health. And that's why there's this connection, because they're required in our nutrition to have optimal brain health, and producing those brain chemicals we need to rely on for good mood, for example. And so what has then come out from that is this AFS. It's the antidepressant score given to different foods, and the higher the score, the more sort of impact that food is likely to have, based on general population studies, on sort of creating, sort of better mood and improving mental health for us. And so I'm going to use that AFS, as my guideline today. But most of these foods, to be fair, were in my 2017 book with Rachel Kelly. So, sort of there isn't sort of major new, but it's really about trying to get these particular foods more frequently, sort of into your day-to-day diet. So let's look at it. So number one is shellfish, and like oysters and mussels in particular, and and also fatty fish, and sort of oily fish like salmon and sardines. And I'm also putting in top one because it's sort of with that oysters and mussels, foods that we don't necessarily eat that much, but they're very, very concentrated. They really are the highest scorers on the AFS. Is also like animal organ meats such as liver, being so strong in concentration of vitamin A, and vitamin D and iron, and B vitamins in particular are a big feature of those 12 essential nutrients. So recognizing the more you can increase those particular foods in your day-to-day, the more you will help your mood. Number 2 is dark chocolate. And maybe many of you just chocolates. What's the difference really? Well, flip it over, have a look at that label, and really look for, sort of how much cocoa. And the closer you get to 100% and cacao, the better. But changing it up from a cocoa milk solids like a Cadbury's, like I was a Cadbury's girl, 50% sugar, to a 70% dark chocolate, that's going to be more like 10 to 15% sugar and much more of the actual cacao, which is what we're looking for the antioxidants and for that real sort of good brain food that it offers. And I have to say that ceremonial grade cacao, it's a bit of a buzz thing, and it's fantastic. I love it. I really recommend that, and that obviously has 0% sugar, so another bonus. Number 3 is berries, and we're talking blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, sort of also maybe gooseberries or black currants. Maybe when we get into the summer swing of 2024, you can really expand your berries, but they're more colorful. It's all the polyphenols, the phytonutrients, to be those colors. They're powerhouses of vitamins and nutrients. So do increase them and increase the variety of them. And then you also get that fiber as well. So, sort of raspberries, for example, are the highest fiber fruits. So you can get a 2-for-1 there. Okay, number 4 is bananas. And bananas, I'm a tennis gal, so on the change of ends, I love a banana, and that's why pro tennis players, you always see them eating them, is because they're brilliant for replenishing salts and sort of managing, sort of the absorption of the glucose. And so that they're really great powerhouse though for our mental health, and that's because of that potassium and that magnesium. Now, magnesium is one of those really most important of the 12 essential nutrients for optimizing mental health, and many of us are going around unbeknownst with low levels of magnesium. So do look for a banana a day to maybe keep that topped up. Number 5 is nuts and seeds. Well, this is my love. This is my heart. I can't tell you how much, probably the biggest sort of day-to-day transformation of my diet in the last sort of couple of years has been the number of nuts and seeds, and I'm at least a dozen a day, but usually maybe even twice that. Like I just love nuts and seeds, and I'm always I say to my coaching groups, because they offer the opportunity to have the big 3: the protein, healthy fats, and fiber, all in one tiny little seed or nut. And so do recognize though that tiny thing grows a big plant in only a few weeks or months if it's a seed, and if it's a nut. Like my granddad was a farmer, so he used to grow walnut trees because he liked walnuts. And by the time I was about 9-10 years old, they were these big, I don't know, 100-foot, I don't know, a big walnut tree. And I used to look at it and think, little walnut, big tree. They've got to have some magic beans going on there. So definitely get into your nuts and seeds. It'd be brilliant for your mental health too. Okay, number 6 is leafy greens. And yeah, they're always on there, aren't they? But I'm a habits coach, and I know that the biggest, hardest thing about habits is not knowing the stuff. You already know most of this list, but it's doing it. And how do we get into doing? By reminding, by bringing attention and awareness, by a prod, a nudge, a little wink, and that's how we get doing with our habits. So those leafy green vegetables, I know you've heard it a million times, but get stuck in, especially to the cruciferous, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. Get going with it, increase them in your day-to-day. Okay, number 7 is avocado. Fantastic. Love this. Avocados, and they're so full of fiber insoluble fibers and soluble fibers, and those healthy long chain omega-3 fatty acids. And that's why they are a superfood when it comes to brain health and mental health. And then I couple them personally. If ever I've got a big day, my coaching community knows the 60-second lunch is called with Claire is my big three. And and it's that avocado and egg all in one. And eggs are at number 8, and that's because they have choline in them, which is another one of those 12 essential ingredients. And so do get in that little egg, sort of, how do you like your eggs in the morning? Get an egg in every so often or several days a week, and you will be getting a nice amount of that choline. And then at number 9, we've got citrus fruit. And this is important, partly because vitamins, citrus, it's good for our immune health, but also partly because vitamin C helps the human body absorb iron. So when we're eating that iron from wherever, which has already been identified as one of the biggest important nutrients for our mental health is iron. So if we're trying to absorb it, sometimes we can struggle. But if we have vitamin C with the same meal, duck à l'orange was what I had to make when I was 14 doing my O-level home ec, right? If we can have the iron and the vitamin C helps the body absorb it. So that's one of the reasons why vitamin C is particularly good to have alongside at the same time and get that double bubble going. Okay, and then finally at number 10, last but not least, is tiny good food mood. And it might be tiny, but just like those nuts I was mentioning, they pack a punch. And don't underestimate tiny, right? They're micro habits. We're talking spices and herbs. We're talking teas. But in particular with the 12 essential nutrients for mental health, we're talking about adaptogens and certain sort of roots like turmeric, ginger, adaptogens like ashwagandha. Those micronutrients are, for some reason, we don't actually know why, but they obviously have specific phytonutrients for our gut or certain gut microbes that then can grow and really handle certain elements of mental health conditions. I hope you have enjoyed all of this. Do get into action. That is what the Health Habits Coach is all about. And that's why I do all these different things, videos and podcasts, is to help you go, yeah, I'm going to do that. Go home, or if you're at home, pull out a piece of paper, write down a shopping list, get them top 10 foods, at least a few of them in your weekly grocery shop, and bingo, better mental health is coming your way. I hope you enjoy this. Do stay tuned for the next episode. It will be coming your way soon. And until then, though, do stay really healthy.